Hey everyone, and welcome to Unit 3, Day 2. Today we're going to be talking about all right. So we're looking at Unit 3, Day 2, and today's aim is how do the organs of the digestive system work together? So we're going to start with the do now, and then we're going to do a brief overview of what we discussed in the Day 1 notes, and then we're going to continue. So, what is homeostasis? So homeostasis is the maintenance of a stable internal environment. So we remember that homeostasis is the maintenance of a stable internal environment. And this involves all of the chemical reactions involved in our metabolism. So enzymes are very important to the maintenance of homeostasis, as well as the consumption of appropriate nutrition, which is why we're talking about it right now in Unit 3. So give an example of mechanical digestion: chewing in the mouth with your teeth, and we're about to talk about another example of mechanical digestion today. And give an example of chemical digestion. So we have acidic breakdown of protein in the stomach, or enzymatic breakdown of starch in the mouth. And we remember, hopefully from yesterday, that mechanical digestion is mechanical, physical, moving, breaking food into smaller pieces. And chemical digestion is breaking those smaller pieces into smaller compounds. And chemical digestion involves a change in the chemical structure of the food. All right. So why is digestion needed? So this is a little review from yesterday. So why do we need to digest our food? Well, we eat all of these organic molecules that we need. We eat proteins, we eat carbohydrates, and we eat lipids. But those molecules are big molecules, right? They're macromolecules, huge. So in order for the important compounds that we need from those molecules to make their way into our bloodstream, we need to break down these chemicals. So once food is digested, it is small enough to diffuse across the cell membranes of your small intestine cells, and that is called absorption. And then from there, it is able to make its way into the bloodstream and be circulated throughout the body. So that way, the organic compounds, the amino acids, the sugars, specifically glucose, the lipids, can make their way to all of the cells in our bodies that need them. Your blood then carries the digested food all around your body, where it diffuses across the cell membrane, so it goes into each individual cell. And there's diffusion happening here twice, right? So it's diffusing into the small intestine cells, and then out of those cells into the bloodstream, and then through the blood, and it diffuses across the cell membrane into all of the different cells that need to be supplied with food. And then these constituent parts, the amino acids, the glucose, the lipids, the fatty acids, and glycerol, they can be used for growth, movement, and repairing cells. And ultimately, a great deal of this fuel will be used in the process of cellular respiration that we're going to talk about starting tomorrow. But how does digestion work? Although the pathway through our body, all along the pathway through our body, food is broken down into very small molecules by chewing, churning, and digestive juices. So bile, which we're going to talk more about during this unit, and enzymes, which hopefully you remember from Unit 2. So enzymes are very important to digestion, and that's why we talked about them at the end of the last unit, so that we can apply that knowledge to digestion. All right. You can see there that process, how the donut makes its way from our mouth where we ate it, ingestion, all the way into the stomach for digestion, involves a process called peristalsis. So what happens to your food when you swallow, and how does it get to the stomach? Peristalsis. So peristalsis is the muscular contractions involved in swallowing your food, but peristalsis doesn't just happen in the esophagus and your throat. It also happens in other parts of the digestive tract. So it's the muscular expanding and contracting that moves food along through the digestive tract. So now we're gonna watch a short little video, or you're actually gonna watch the short little video on your end, and please pause me and watch the video that is linked in the description and also on the Google Classroom stream. It is a toddler's digestive tract. And maybe I can play it. I can play it muted and I won't get copyright stricken. So this is a toddler, its teeth are developing. Now it's eating a mouthful of food. It's chewing, so that's mechanical digestion. But please watch this video on your own because there's audio. And flow nasty, so that saliva is involved in digestion. And there we see, so that movement that you're watching, that's mechanical digestion, and that's also peristalsis. So peristalsis is a form of mechanical digestion. So the food is traveling all through the intestines. Ugh. Sorry, I just was distracted by this, but you can see the baby swallowing the yogurt. And now it's making its way down the esophagus. And if you ever have any digestive illnesses, they might send a scope down your throat. That's called endoscopy, and that's the video footage that we're watching right now. All right, so you guys are watching this video independently as well so that you can hear the audio, but we're gonna stop it right now. So that's, ingestion, and we're gonna take it to its end there. That's the food moving through, into the stomach. So we're following the pathway of digestion. But I do want you guys to hear this audio. So I'm gonna stop it and please watch the video. Again, it's linked in the description and on the Google Classroom stream. And you can see here, it's also linked on your assignment, and now we're here. All right. Oh dear. All right, so peristalsis is a series of wave-like muscle contractions that move food to different processing stations in the digestive system. So this is the definition of peristalsis. Peristalsis occurs in the esophagus. It moves food to the stomach. The stomach also performs these wave-like muscular contractions in order to pass the food along further down the digestive tract. We're going to follow that pathway today into the small intestine where nutrient absorption occurs. A further question, and again, this is answered in the narration of that video, so please do make sure you watch that video with the sound on. How does the stomach protect itself from stomach acid? So the stomach has a mucus lining that neutralizes stomach acid and helps prevent the digestive enzymes and gastric juices from digesting the stomach itself, right? Because the stomach is made out of the same type of material that meat would be made out of. So it's proteins, and theoretically that tissue could be digested by the very strong acids and enzymes that exist in the stomach. But the stomach has this mucous membrane, this mucus lining that protects it from itself. So what happens to your food when you swallow? Can you label the main parts of your digestive system? So let's go ahead and label those now. We've got the mouth. All right, ingestion. We're eating some food, we're chewing it. So we've got our mouth as part of this now, our teeth, the salivary glands in our mouth that produce enzymes that help with digestion, and also saliva itself that helps with digestion to lubricate the food and turn it into this bolus shape. So when we watch that little toddler eat, you may have noticed that the yogurt sort of became a cylindrical shape, and all the food that we eat as we chew it, and you can feel this when you're chewing your food in your mouth, your teeth and your tongue are putting your food into this long cylindrical shape, and that shape helps your food travel throughout your digestive tract all the way to its very end, right? And that shape, that bolus shape, is the shape that your food has from the time that you swallow. As it travels down your esophagus or your throat, passes its way into the stomach, and then into the small intestine where nutrient absorption occurs, and then finally into the large intestine where absorption of water occurs, and finally, really finally, on its way out through the rectum. So now let's describe the basic functions of the following organs. So our esophagus, that's where you swallow. It connects mouth and stomach and brings food down through peristalsis, so that's your throat. Then food goes into the stomach, which is involved in both chemical, remember enzymes and acids, digestion, and also mechanical, remember peristalsis and churning, digestion. And the acids and enzymes in the stomach help break down proteins, right? So that really low pH helps break down proteins in the stomach. And we have the pancreas, which is one of the accessory organs of the digestive system. So your food doesn't pass directly through the pancreas, but the pancreas produces and secretes the enzymes that are involved in other parts of the digestive tract. Then we have the small intestine, which we've already said is the site of nutrient absorption. So this is where those small, now digested molecules are able to diffuse across the cell membrane and make their way into the bloodstream. And then finally, the large intestine partakes in water absorption. So what that means is that it absorbs the extra water that's left over in your waste and puts it back theoretically through your body. In the large intestine, you could also have an addition of water to your feces, your fecal matter, which it is at this point in the large intestine. It's now the waste because at the small intestine, the nutrients have already been extracted. So if you have a disorder with water addition or water absorption in the large intestine, or even just a temporary disruption of water disruption in the large intestine, that can lead to digestive discomfort. In the case of not enough water absorption, that can lead to diarrhea. In the case of too much water absorption, that can lead to constipation. And forgive me because we're in the digestive system, so this is all a little gross, but that's the best way that I remember the large intestine, right? So what does the large intestine do? It adds or removes water from your fecal matter. And so you can think about diarrhea and constipation are the two dramatic ends of what could happen with disruption in the large intestine. And we can see here, this is the stomach, and there is that mucous membrane that protects it from digesting itself. Here we have the liver, pancreas, gallbladder. So these are the accessory organs. We just talked a little bit about the pancreas, but they all secrete and produce bile or digestive enzymes. The gallbladder stores the bile, and the pancreas produces and secretes enzymes, and we call them accessory organs. And this question isn't on your paper, but just for your additional edification. We call them accessory organs because the food does not pass directly through these organs. However, they are involved in the digestive process through the production of bile, enzymes, and digestive juices. And the teeth and salivary glands of your mouth, like we already mentioned, are also involved in this digestive process and are also involved in beginning not only mechanical but also chemical digestion with the enzymes such as amylase that are present in the saliva. And the small intestines, as we discussed, this is where some digestion terminates or ends. So the completion of the digestion of the starches that began in the mouth and of fats. And this is also where nutrients are absorbed through these little structures called villi that are like little frilly pointing things that kind of almost look like coral flowing in the sea. And it is through those structures that the nutrients are absorbed via diffusion. and the large intestine, and we just discussed, so how are you affected if not enough water or too much water is reabsorbed? Diarrhea or constipation, two things that you don't want to happen. So if you're maintaining homeostasis, if things are going well, you shouldn't have either one of those side effects. But experiencing one of those is a sign that your body is having difficulty or having a disruption in homeostasis. And all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you today. So today we went over unit 3, day 2, and today's aim was all the way back to the beginning. Today's aim was how do the organs of the digestive system work together? And we went through all the organs of the digestive system and how they all work together in the processes of mechanical and chemical digestion. Have a super fantastic day, everyone. See you all tomorrow on Zoom. Bye, guys.